Hey guys, what's going on? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Guys, I have made now hundreds of thousands of trades in my career. Unlike most traders that you see on the YouTubes and the Twitters and stuff that, right, they claim they got a system where they trade 30 minutes a day and make a bunch of money, and it's very easy and simple and anybody can follow it and buy my ebook and all that kind of stuff. I'm in the trenches day in, day out, every single day, and I make a lot of trades. I'm trading most of the day. And I've learned a handful of lessons throughout these years. I've been trading cryptos. I trade futures. I trade stocks, obviously. I'm a trader's trader. This is what I do. I've learned a few lessons over the years that I want to impart on you that I think are really important beyond just, your handful of platitudes that, you gotta manage your risk, learn a system, so on and so forth. So let's talk a few important lessons that I think are always, you're gonna need them always. The first one, use software to take out a lot of the thinking and emotions in your trading. What do I mean by that? So for years, about 13 years ago, I'd make $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000. I'd do it for like 10 days. And then I'd lose like $6,000, $7,000 in one day and just wipe it all out. And I was in this crazy spin cycle where I just wasn't able to manage my risk because I was always depending on willpower. I was always depending on the willpower to stop trading when I need this trade, to get out of a trade when I needed to get out of trade. Everything I did was just based on willpower. Well, when you test your willpower nonstop all day, every day, you're gonna have a crack somewhere in that day. See, the longer you trade, the more likely you're gonna make a mistake, especially if you're depending on willpower to get you through that. You make 15, 20 trades, guess what? Somewhere in there you're gonna make a mistake and one of them will slip away. So one of the things that helped me throughout the years to help turn the corner was to take some of that thinking, because I'm a crazy person, I'm an emotional person. I'd always hold stocks too long if they went against me. Software. I put a max loss in my account every single day. What I mean by max loss is I have in my software, so I trade on Dash Trader, I have numerous brokers. I have programmed in a max loss of what I can lose in a day. What is like my max pain? So what happens is if I hit that, I'm sold out of my positions and I'm just done for the day. So it takes that willpower part of when things are going bad and it takes it out of my hands. Because how many times have you guys been faced with, like, you're down like $1,000 and you're like, oh, I'll just take one more trade and maybe I'll get some of it back. And then it goes against you. Then you're like, shoot, I'm gonna take one more trade. Now you go in a little bit bigger, right? You start gambling a little bit. And then it goes against you. And the day spirals out of control. Or you have a stock that starts going against you. And you're like, I'm gonna hold it for 5 more minutes. I'm gonna hold it for 5 more minutes. And it goes against you. So putting a max loss on your account will take some of that thinking just out of the game, right? It'll be out of your head, it'll be out of your hands. Lesson number 2, have an old faithful. What I mean by old faithful is you should have one setup. Everybody should have one setup, one trading pattern that they know inside and out. Like this is, like your old favorite t-shirt. When you see this one, you know exactly how it's gonna feel, what it's gonna do. Why is that important? Most new people I run into, like in our trading boot camp, I have students come from all over the place. And they've almost always taken other people's classes. Like, oh, I'm trying to learn these small capstocks from some guy that farms vegetables, and this guy that does this, and oh, this guy, he was in private plane, he's teaching me about penny stocks, blah, 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 blah. So what happens is, we're just like hoarding information. We jump from style to style, information, setup to setup, scan to scan. And I'm gonna use this trade idea, so it's gonna make me great. I'm gonna use this. The biggest thing that you can do that's gonna give you the consistency you need, find one pattern, something that shows up often, and then become a master at it. Whether it's taking a class, reading a book, looking on the YouTube, or just using a charting software and hunting for that pattern all the time. Train your brain into it. Look for it thousands of times so it's ingrained in your brain. What's gonna happen over time is that this one becomes your own. I'll give you a prime time example. You know, a couple weeks ago, I never had back-to-back losing days. And a few weeks ago, I ended up losing 2 days in a row, which never really happens. And I was like, how did that happen, right? And you know, I was making some mistakes and so on and so forth. So like the third day, I don't want to have a third down day. A third down day means losing streak, right? It means slow. So I said in the morning, I'm only going to trade ORBs in the morning till I break my slump. Why? Because I know, like through data, that this is my best trading setup. And I also know just from watching it and trading it forever, that's my old faithful. That's my go-to. It's my go-to setup. Anytime, anywhere I see that one, if I take it, I've got a really, really good chance of not just winning on it, but really trading it right, getting that perfect entry, managing the risk in the right size, so on and so forth. That setup, I've been trading for over a decade. But like throughout that decade, it has been the most profitable setup that I do. So when I get in a slump, that's the one that I always turn back to because that's my old faithful. So you've got to have one of those. If I would rather you be perfect at one setup than above average in 10 setups. Even if you're above average in 10 setups, there's a good shot you're probably not going to be a consistent trader. Like you've got to be the master of something, and if you do that, you're going to be good to go. Third thing, it's the third lesson. I think this one's actually really important because it has nothing to do necessarily with like, hey, I'm taking this class or I know these trading setups. But I think the third most important thing is having a trading buddy or buddies that you work with. It can be a community like a chat room, but that's usually like a big, cock fest of traders, talking about how awesome they are. I'm talking about having a relationship, a personal relationship with one or two or three traders that you can work with and talk with every day. Not a teacher, but friends. You know, when you have a teacher, it's like Paul is my teacher. I don't want to go to him every day and bother him about X, Y, Z. Especially if I'm just bitching about something that I made a mistake on. But I have trading buddies, I'm like, fuck, I fucked this up, That really helps. I've got a guy, Zaman, and he's our moderator in chat room. I've been trading with him on Gmail chat for 12 years. Every day, we chat from 6 in the morning, even at night, 10, 11 at night, we're chatting with each other. Hey, watch this, but we keep each other in check. If I see him over trading, I tell him to cut it out. If he sees me do that, he's like, bail. But more than that, we share our trades. Like, hey, how much money you make today? How much money you make? Sometimes it's a little competition, sometimes we're just motivating each other. But it's that camaraderie of us keeping each other accountable that I think has been even more of a supercharge to my trading than having a whole host of mentors. I've had some awesome mentors over the years, but the maintenance of that after has really been my relationship with this guy. You know, 12 years later, we'll still sit there. He'll message me at 6 morning, what's up, what's hot? And we'll sit there all day and chat. But we know each other to that point now where he'll just say, like today, I'm making these videos right now, it's noon. And he's like, hey man, you had an awesome day. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna sneak out one more trade. And he's like, you got what you gotta go. You got what you need, go. And that's what an accountability partner, a trading buddy will do. Think of it as like a trading buddy and somebody that's good, right? Somebody that's skilled. Think of it as like your work wife, right? Like if you have a job, like when I was working in my actual job many moons ago, right? You would have a work wife, right? Like somebody like you're working with, it's like a buddy or a woman or whoever, right? You do everything with them together at work, right? It's like you go out to lunch together, you bitch about your boss with them, right? Whatever it is. Well, your trading should be the same way. I think that one thing like really helped me get to the next level, because when I'm having a bad day, it's like, I'm like, son, man, I fucked up today. And he's like, yeah, man, you chase this, you chase this, you chase this. He's like, I could tell you were giddy in the morning. He's like, you were probably out doing all sorts of stuff at night. He's like, you gotta get your shit together. That's the type of stuff that happens. Share your trades with somebody. Find somebody, it doesn't matter if he's a star or nothing like that. Somebody that's on your level that you can grow with. It's gonna help you a lot, especially if you have a long-term relationship with them. That's my third lesson. That's my third lesson. So those are the three things that if I was starting over, I would take right off the bat. That shaved years off my development. Guys, I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.